Hello and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 or on Twitter Razzle11Grinds. I'm going to take a look here at some pitching options for Sunday the 16th of April. In my first look here, uh, we have a ton of guys that are usable today. There are some aces, and then there are some guys that are just really strong pitchers that aren't quite aces yet, but in some solid spots. So Uh, let's kind of take a look at some tiers, I guess, in today's video. I'm going to look here at the 9K plus tier on DK. Cease, McClanahan, Bieber, Alcantara, and Garrett Cole. Um, I am probably going to use all of these guys, to be honest. I am debating, as we look here at some of the weather issues, um, I might go with the fade on Dylan Cease or potentially on McClanahan. Um, so if I'm gonna fade anybody in this grouping of five guys, it'll be the bottom two. Cease and the weather has me a little bit worried. Uh, Plus the wind's blowing out. So despite the cooler temperatures and um, the chances of in-game delay, the wind is blowing out pretty strong. McClanahan taking on Toronto. Toronto's played pretty well in this series at home. Uh, so he might be one that I'm looking to fade out of this group. Um, I would think the fade option should be Garrett Cole because at 10.9, I don't think we need to go there, but the K upside is just too nice. Alcantara in that game against Gallon, lowest total on the slate, could be a very pitcher friendly performance for both guys. And then Bieber against Washington is probably the best spot, just as far as matchups go. It is really warm, but it's still Bieber against a punchless Washington squad. So that's kind of how I look at the top tier. We're going to drop down here into the 7 to 9K range. We're going to talk about some guys that I'm actually going to be off. I am going to be off of Nola, as I've pointed out many, many times already this year. I just think that he's in for a rough season after pitching into November last year. There's some weather in Cincinnati as well that makes it easier to kind of get off of him. Pablo Lopez, I am going to get off. He has looked absolutely amazing since coming over to Minnesota. I'm just not going to plug him in against the Yankees and the power that they are displaying right now. I am off of Alek Manoah as well. Uh, he just doesn't look right to begin the season. A lot of walks. The Ks aren't really there. So as you can see, this price range in general, I'm going to be off of a lot of guys, which is weird. The one guy from this range that I am going to be using quite a bit of is going to be Mitch Keller. I believe in the talent. I think there's plenty of upside at the price point. There is a ton of volatility. So if you are worried about him giving up a couple home runs or whatever, I probably would consider going elsewhere. But I just really like the upside and I like the talent. So I'm going to rely on that. Now we're going to go with this bottom tier here. I think there's a guy like Mikolas is going to be fairly popular. I'm not going there. I don't care. Like, he just hasn't looked good. Uh, Pittsburgh offense has performed better than expected. I'm just not going to take the chance and go with Mikolas at all. Uh, I would rather go with Matthew Boyd at 6,100. Boyd is a guy that this spring was just striking everybody out. The strikeouts haven't carried over to the regular season. He does have 7 of them in 9 innings. He also has 7 walks, which is a bit worrisome. He has thrown just 75 and 76 pitches, so maybe he's kind of limited to the 80 to 85 pitch range. But San Francisco is striking out a ton against left-handed pitchers to begin the season. So Boyd is a guy that really intrigued me. But there is some weather in Detroit by the looks of it. Detroit here's this top line. There is some risk, so we are going to have to learn just when that delay is supposed to hit. Um, but yeah, that's kind of a quick look. There's just so many guys on the slate that it's tough to give a my traditional video for. Um, but if I want to kind of give you a quick breakdown, the guys that I'm definitely going to be using on the slate: Alcantara, Bieber. I didn't mention Gallon, but Gallon's definitely on my list of using. Mitch Keller and Matthew Boyd are the group of guys that I'm definitely using. Boyd, depending on the weather situation. Guys that I'm not going to be using: Dylan Cease, Shane McClanahan, most likely. Uh, I'm still a big fan of McClanahan, so I might have to sneak him in, but most likely it's going to be both of these guys that I'm not using. Aaron Nola again, Pablo Lopez, and Alec Manoah, and then Miles Mikolas. So there's quite a few guys on my fade list today. Some of that is just based on the fact that we have, in this top tier, we have some strong pitchers. So I kind of have to fade a couple of them. And then just a couple other guys that I think are going to be popular that I just don't want, such as Mikolas today. So um, that's going to be the look at today's pitching. Like I said, plenty of options for us to use. It's about narrowing things down. Normally, I like to narrow my pool down on DK MME wise to about 8. I think I'm gonna have a hard time narrowing it down to 8 usable guys, in my 300 lineups. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this video. If you do enjoy what I have for you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for the DFS Army YouTube channel. It really helps us out, helps me out as well. If you are interested in joining us at DFS Army, you can use promo code RAZ for 10% off your monthly membership. I will put this links in the description below. And as always, best of luck, everybody.